Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. Geomag Stabilizers recently received a buff that makes them a very useful option for you Chaos Reach Warlock lovers out there. And today we are going over an aggressive Arc Warlock build that has super fast ability regen with the capability to output 5 supers in under 7 minutes with this setup. Capable of stunning all 3 champion types in endgame activities and much more. Slap that like button if you do find this video informative at any stage. Blood, sweat and tears go into the making of my videos. Let's begin. So, let's go over what the build does first. Having an arc setup that is capable of generating traces is crucial, or none of this will work. Spawn traces with a combination of aspects, fragments, and exotics to feed into your abilities, which also grant bonus super energy on melee kill and rift pop. Starting with Geomag Stabilizers, the original OP Arc Warlock exotic that used to fill out the Chaos Reach super bar on sprinting when having nearly full super energy, they removed the function and made it absolutely useless a couple of years ago, but luckily they recently buffed it, allowing the Arc traces to grant super energy on top of ability energy. Arc Warlocks are spoilt for choice when it comes to spawning traces thanks to Electrostatic Mind, allowing all your abilities, Jolt or Blind kills to generate traces, and when paired with Lightning Surge, which jolts grouped up targets and can insta-kill most red bars, allows for a lot of trace regeneration. Then you have fragments like Discharge and Ions, which spawn traces on arc weapon kills of any kind roughly every 3 kills, and killing jolted targets spawn them also. Beacons blind targets on arc special weapon kills, allowing to spawn traces when defeating blinded targets, and finally, resistance to give you damage resist when using your melee when surrounded. This is the basis of the build, and with champions in mind, you'll want an arc special weapon that can ideally stun a champion. Unfortunately, this season at least, Cold Heart, which is probably one of the first weapons you could think of when spawning traces, is incapable of stunning, wasting a slot, whilst Delicate Tomb, which also spawn traces, just doesn't do the job as effectively. Instead, give Tessellation a try. Tessellation adapts its damage type to the elemental subclass, and this season, thanks to Unstoppable Fusion, can stun unstoppable champions, on top of generating grenade energy on kill. Talking of grenades, I slotted concussion grenades to blind unstoppables also, allowing you to follow up with Tessellation's ult shot to do DPS. Then slot any auto rifle, you won't need it for anything other than stunning barrier champions. And for heavy, machine gun, ideally arc. You have several options to choose from, including the new seasonal machine gun that just released, but my pick might actually surprise you. Anyone remember Planck Stride, that trashy arc machine gun from Season of the Plunder? It's arc and can roll pug list, meaning killing adds grants melee energy, capable of spawning traces, and giving you lightning surge melee energy, allowing you to spam melee abilities, which spawn even more traces. If the content you are playing does not include unstoppables, you can swap Tessellation for Cold Heart. As you may have already noticed, the build is focused heavily on melee spam in order to get super energy as quick as possible, spawning arc traces on ability kills and arc weapons. Popping some mods on this build will max out its efficiency in terms of getting your super energy. Combining Dynamo and hands-on mods, popping your Rift near combatants grants super energy. Arc Siphon will also spawn orbs on arc multi-kills, with heavy-handed generating them also on melee kill. Recuperation and Invigoration on orb pickup will grant health and melee energy. You can slot a powerful attraction mod to pick these up when popping rifts, which stacks with Dynamo. Impact Induction also grants a small amount of melee energy on doing grenade damage. And finally, Outreach and Bomber on your class item will grant grenade and melee energy when popping rifts. Slap all this together and you have a build that can generate your super regularly, using it as your main DPS option. The seasonal Artefact Perks can also provide a benefit to this setup. In the second column, you can slot the Arc Strand combo mod to allow your kinetic slot auto rifle, if it is of Strand element, to spawn orbs of power as well as your arc weapons. Rufus Fury is my top pick. Please let me know in the comments what you think of elemental orbs, because I find them very underwhelming. Of course, this build spawns arc orbs when getting arc weapon multi-kills, and when using the third column perks, refreshing pickups and elemental fury, picking up arc orbs gives energy to your least charged ability, and stun champions take increased damage from orbs and abilities, including Chaos Reach. Monochromatic Maestro in the 5th column will grant a 10% damage buff to weapons and abilities when doing damage with them. And finally, a very important perk, Elemental Embrace, that gives strong damage resistance when buffed by an elemental buff, for example, Amplified, and when Warlocks pick up traces with Electrostatic Mind equipped as an aspect, they become amplified, meaning you will always have the perk's damage resistance. The damage resistance only works with arc damage, so Fallen content in particular makes this build very strong. Also to note, the elemental orbs you spawn can stun overloads too, as well as spawn traces. Granted, this build is nowhere near as strong as Vesper from Season 21, but Geomag Stabilizers has put itself back on the map for Arc Warlocks, giving Guardians a nice headache when setting up for Endgame. That's it folks for this video. We will be reviewing the brand new seasonal sniper rifle next, followed by a Titan build. This was Plasma Alchemist. Your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time, see ya later.
Fight forever, Guardian!